We will be talking about the Path of the Yoga Sutras again by Nikolai Bachman. I just want to go over the Yamas on page 139, chapter 28, or ethical practices. The most important human endeavor is the striving for morality in our actions. Our inner balance and even our very existence depend on it. Only morality in our actions can give beauty and dignity to life. Our world, especially the melting pot of America, is filled with people whose belief systems span the gamut. A civil society functions when all agree on certain basic ethics called Yamas in yoga. The ability to cooperate with others is arguably the most important of the 8 limbs of yoga. Its importance is emphasized by its placement at the very beginning of the limbs. Social ethics can be practiced more often than the other limbs. In fact, anytime one person interacts with another living being, all of their limbs look to the Yamas as their foundation. Social interaction is the best environment in which to ascertain how effective the foundational principles of yoga are. The way we treat each other, living creatures, is a testament to our inner state. Clarity in our heart-mind manifests as qualities such as kindness, compassion, selflessness, and keen judgment. On the other hand, cloudiness reveals itself as malice, selfishness, and poor judgment. Yama means regulation, control, or restraint. Each yama is a guideline for behaving in a benevolent manner towards others, so as to support the process of quietly turning inward and discovering our true nature. They are listed below and will be explored in individual chapters. Yama 1, ahimsa, nonviolence. Yama 2, satya, truthfulness. Yama 3, asteya, not taking from others. Yama 4, brahmacharya, conservation of vital energy. Yama 5, aparigraha, non-hoarding, non-possessiveness. Practicing all 5 yamas cultivates a strong moral backbone that will benefit us and others throughout our lifetime. Difficult situations can test our ethical fortitude. The yamas are to be taken seriously and practiced moment to moment. When we maintain our dignity and act truthfully in the face of an ethical challenge, others will follow our brave lead and also behave with a clean conscience. So, Kriya Yoga. Real inner transformation can occur when we deliberately investigate why we act or react the way we do. Kriya Yoga, defined by Patanjali as the last 3 personal practices, Niyamas, is a set of synergistic tools that bring about inner change. It consists of tapas, svadhyaya, and ishvara pranayama. Tapas, practice causing positive change, involves conscious and deliberate action. It is the most outer external practice and thus is first on the list. Svadhyaya, observation and of oneself, allows us to see what aspects within us need improvement. Ishvara Pranayama keeps us humble and respectful by honoring knowledge itself while providing us with the confidence that positive change will happen over time. These last 3 niyamas will be discussed in individual chapters. Kriya Yoga is the seed for the 8 limbs of yoga, Ashtanga Yoga. The 3-fold set of tools is to be integrated into the other practices. Inner growth involves changing the way we look at things, the way we operate, and our attitudes and expectations. Applying Kriya Yoga to our life is easiest if we begin with self-observation, svadhyaya, and then carry out a plan, tapas, with faith and humility, ishvara pranayama. The purpose of Kriya Yoga is twofold: to weaken our mental, emotional afflictions, and cultivate complete attention, Samadhi. The practices of Kriya Yoga cause our reactions to previously uncomfortable or painful events to diminish, eventually transforming them into conscious and positive actions because the events no longer push any of our buttons. This transformation clarifies and purifies our heart-mind field, chitta prasadana, allowing us to focus our attention fully and perceive things as they are. Asana, chapter 42, page 207. Yoga is much more than performing physical postures. Yet doing these postures, asanas, purifies and prepares our body for seated meditation. Our physical health affects our heart, mind, and vice versa. As we twist, jump, stretch, and invert all parts of our physique, impurities are churned up and released, allowing our life force, prana, to flow more easily and improving our overall well-being. Asana is the third limb of yoga. Asana is the third of 8 limbs of yoga, Ashtanga. The word asana means sitting or seat. Asana precedes breath regulation, pranayama, because asana works on the outer physical layer of our being, while pranayama works with our breath, prana, and an inner and more subtle layer of our being. The body needs to be strong and pliable to ground the prana flowing through its subtle energy channels. The aim of asana is to reduce any hyperactivity in the nervous system and prepare the body for pranayama. If one cannot sit still comfortably with the spine erect, the prana cannot flow unobstructed. On the other hand, it is important to be able to breathe consciously during the practice of asana, so they work hand in hand. Patanjali does not emphasize asana and devotes only 3 sutras to it, just enough to mention the basic characteristics of its practice. Asana can be extended to mean our inner posture, our poise during interactions with others. We want a balance of open-mindedness with groundedness. Being too rigid with our opinion may indicate an attachment to something and is likely connected to egotism, asmita. Closed-mindedness is an aspect of ignorance. Apathy, an obstacle to yoga, and araya may also be present. We simply do not care about what is being discussed, even if it is very important. Yoga involves independent thinking, forming our own opinions based on as much reliable information, pramana, as possible. Following others blindly is another form of ignorance, avidya. The practice of asana purifies the body and clarifies the heart-mind. Our body is a sacred temple designed to make it possible for us to self-reflect and connect with higher awareness within. When our limbs are supple, our breath is smooth, and no energy is blocked, we can relax and focus our attention inward, cultivating inner beauty and happiness. Chapter 43, Pranayama. Page 211. A healthy mind has an easy breath. Anonymous. Stabilizing and refining prana, our life force, is the centerpiece of yoga practice. As the fourth of the 8 limbs, pranayama is where we begin to work with our subtle body via the breath. Prana, equivalent to chi in Chinese, is responsible for all movement in the body and directly influences our physical, mental, and emotional health. When prana flows smoothly, our attention can focus and our heart-mind can calm down. Life itself is defined by the existence of prana. The word prana means life force or breath. Prana moves everything in the body, including blood, lymph, nerve impulses, and ions. It also moves within our subtle energy points, marmas, energy channels, nadis, and energy centers, chakras. Wherever the mind goes, prana follows. In other words, wherever our attention is directed, our life force is projected. If we can control our life force, we can improve our overall health and well-being. Breath is a physical manifestation of prana, the life force that connects all aspects of perception. When the life force is obstructed, the breath becomes irregular. For example, when we are frightened, our prana is shocked, causing us to gasp. If we are stressed, taking a few deep breaths relaxes our body and our mind. Pranayama calms the nervous system by means of breathing exercises that control and regulate the breath. According to the sutras, there are 3 primary pranayama activities: exhalation, inhalation, and retention. Pranayama, through its effects on the physical body and the mind, helps stabilize and calm it. Practicing this part of yoga helps us bring our attention away from sensory stimuli, pratyahara, and toward a point of focus. From there, we turn inward, practicing the inner limbs of yoga, samyama, and gradually experience more and more of a connection with that divine inner light of awareness that rests inside of our core. Pratyahara, page 217, chapter 44. Tuning out sensory input. Pratyahara is not a practice per se, but a side effect of breath regulation, pranayama, and turning inward, samyama. When our attention is inwardly concentrated, samyama, we do not register sights, sounds, or other sensory details around us and are no longer distracted by external objects. If we live amid a lot of hustle and bustle, tuning out that noise will be our challenge. This is why many ancient and modern yogins prefer to spend time in caves. Theoretically, in either environment, all distracting clamor will be rendered mute if our focus is strong enough. A wandering heart-mind is the antithesis to yoga. Learning to focus our attention in one place helps clarify and purify our consciousness by reining in the sensory organs. The true nature of our heart-mind is transparency, which allows our inner light of awareness to shine through our being without distortion and illumination, and illuminate our world with knowledge, kindness, and compassion. Dharana, chapter 46, page 227. Dharana, which is the sixth of the 8 limbs of yoga, Ashtanga, is this initial stage of turning inward, a 3-stage process called samyama. Dharana is defined as keeping the attention on a single place. At this stage, one proactively chooses an object to focus on. The object can be an external, physical thing, an abstract idea, or more traditionally, an internal aspect of ourselves. Examples of external objects include a flame, an image, or even an idol. We should like the object, but not be attached to it in any way. If there's any resistance to it, or if it brings up negative or distracting thoughts, then something else should be selected. The object should have the qualities of sattva. For example, let's say you chose an image of Jesus. After meditating on that particular image, you realize that it resembles an acquaintance you do not care for. If the idea of Jesus as sacred gets corrupted by your memory of this other person, it is time to either find a different image of Jesus or choose an entirely different object of focus. Inner objects of focus may include a chakra, mantra, the breath, or even the divine within us. A traditional and common place of focus is the heart area / chakra, regarded as the center of our being. It is said in the Katha Upanishad that a flame the size of a thumb burns continuously in the heart, like a pilot light of life. This glow represents the warm inner splendor of pure awareness. Dharana alone can be intermittent, attention drifting away then back again. When it becomes continuous, then we have reached the second stage of samyama, which is called Dhyana. The regulation of our breath, pranayama, prepares the heart-mind for dharana. Choose something to focus on and place your attention there and be as still as possible. With detached awareness, vairagya, we can begin to perceive the object objectively, setting aside our baggage and allowing our field of consciousness to fully experience its true essence. Dhyana, page 231, chapter 47. Continuous focus. Dhyana is the seventh. With Dhyana, the heart-mind begins to clarify, chitta prasadana, and the detrimental thoughts and emotions, klishta-vrittis, fade away. Dhyana is the 7th limb of yoga and the middle stage of turning inward, samyama. Dhyana is continuous dharana. Attention so focused that peripheral noise does not interfere with our concentration. Dharana is focusing on a single object, but thoughts about the object vary. Dhyana occurs only when only a single idea is present in the heart-mind. As an archer concentrates only on the bullseye and nothing else, we focus only on our chosen subject. In Dhyana, only one thought about the object exists. Dharana is like water dripping intermittently on a single spot. Dhyana is like honey flowing continuously over the spot. Even while doing a posture, if you are fully focused on your body or breath, then you are practicing Dhyana. Each time your attention strays to a fellow classmate or the teacher, you refer back to Dharana. Early in the morning, especially before sunrise, is considered the best time to meditate since very little is going on. Whenever we turn our attention inward, we usually shift among the three inner limbs of yoga: Dharana, Dhyana, and Samadhi. Dhyana blocks out inflicted thoughts and emotions, allowing our heart-mind to absorb only the positive energy of the chosen subject. The clarification and stabilization of the heart-mind, chitta prasadana, can result from dhyana as well. The more the attention is focused, the fewer distractions occur, and the more the heart-mind becomes serene and composed. Eventually, as our heart-mind becomes immersed in the pure waters of meditation, it will no longer produce any negative behavioral patterns, samskaras, paving the way for us to become a kinder and more compassionate presence. Samadhi, chapter 48, page 235. The birds have vanished into the sky, and now the last cloud drains away. We sit together, let the mountain and me, only until the mountain remains. When we are so completely focused that our own sense of individuality vanishes, then our heart-mind field of consciousness, chitta, reflects only on the object of focus and nothing else. Our attention is so riveted and unswerving that external sensory input is totally turned off, Pratyahara. We are in a zone, having let go of the outer world, and now experience a feeling of unity. Samadhi is the eighth and final limb of Ashtanga yoga and is functionally identical to yoga at the state of Nirodha. At this stage, there is no perception of a subject separate from its object. Both seem to be one entity, uniting in the heart-mind's eye, even though in physical reality the practitioner is still different from the object. Yoga is often defined as union in this sense. In Samadhi, the ego takes a vacation, is removed from the equation since it can function only when the object can be distinguished from the subject. Beyond this state, when our chitta does not even reflect the object and becomes transparent, it is the ultimate goal of full connection with our divine inner light of awareness, Purusha. Samadhi can be experienced in everyday life. Anytime we get lost in something and our consciousness is completely absorbed in it, we're experiencing a type of Samadhi. Full participation in activity, we are so involved that nothing else exists except what we are focused on doing, can be Samadhi. Hypnotic trance is another example. Intoxication and addiction can be considered harmful types of Samadhis. The Samadhi defined by Patanjali as the final stage of Samyama is conscious and has the qualities of sattva. One way of looking at Samadhis is a sequence of steps toward complete mastery of an object, knowing everything about the object inside and out. Number 1, the most superficial stage is when our heart-mind attempts to understand the object by means of our intellect alone, through reasoning, logic, inference, or conjecture. Here, objects are identified by words, and each word may be interpreted differently among different people. What the object is or is not is debatable, and our opinions on it are influenced by our mental and emotional afflictions, kleshas. Number 2, the second stage is a subtler, deeper attempt of the mind to understand an object with more careful examination and reflection. We now use keen, refined discernment and reflection to get to a more acute and truthful evaluation of the object. The qualities of the object are no longer debatable, nor are they influenced by our mental and emotional afflictions, kleshas. Irrational ideas that stun the mind, like those of a Zen koan, occur at this level. Number 3, the joy and satisfaction of fully understanding something occurs in the third stage. The knowledge temporarily becomes part of us, and we really enjoy being able to experience it. Number 4, when the knowledge becomes completely internalized, becomes part of our identity, then the object is said to have merged with us, the subject. This complete mastery allows us the freedom to experiment with new unknown ideas. According to the sutras, one who has enough faith in the divine, Ishvara Pranayama, who truly sees the divine light inside all beings, can bypass the normal stages of development and reach the final stage of Samadhi directly. Reaching Samadhi this way is considered very rare.